Guys, Dominique, this is Mac Jones yesterday at training camp. You know, they have these OTAs going on. He's showing off some skills. And then, can someone grade the dancing for me here? What do we think of the dance moves? It's actually better than I would have thought. What do you think of
that? Yeah, I like it. I'll give Mac Jones a thumbs up. He just looks so happy to be in the sunshine and out of New England. Good for him.
What the hell?
Is that like the driving the car move he's doing? I'm not sure what that is, but I might try and incorporate that.
I can grade Greeny right now.
He's just feeling it.
That's not good.
Come on, am I not? I mean, he's just that's a.
Are you punching
Look at that move. He's got a little bit of this going on.
Jazzercise workout?
I can't decide if it's something he's doing. Almost looks like something he's doing involuntarily.
Oh my God!
One way or another.
Dem boys kicks. What's up, man?
Like a wannabe Baker Mayfield.
All right. Anyway, let's get on to why this is a big day in the NFL, shall we? As opposed to my dancing. Mandatory minicamps are underway across the league.
Done.
10 teams are working out today. Players are required to be there. The Vikings are one of them, and Justin Jefferson is the richest of them. After signing a 4-year, $140 million contract yesterday, he's the highest paid non-quarterback ever. The Niners open up their camp with big question marks at wide receiver. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk is entering the final year of his deal. What will happen there? And then, of course, there are the Cowboys, because there always are. A C.D. Lamb, not expected to show up, coming off a career season in the final year of his contract. And it certainly does seem, and we've been talking about this forever, like the longer the Cowboys wait for a deal with C.D. Lamb, the higher the price tag is going to get. Just look at the contracts that have been signed this offseason. Jefferson and Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jalen Waddle last week. All these guys getting paid an absolute fortune, which brings two questions to my mind. I'll start with the more basic and just to sort of set the table here. Jeff, like, should we be expecting anything here? We've been waiting on deals in Dallas for Dak and Micah, now especially CD, for what feels like our whole lives. Is anything going on?
Well, this is a significant moment in the form of, at least now they have the barometer. This is what the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb have been waiting for a deal, whether Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, to get done and sort of give them a sense of where the market reset will be. That's not to say that CeeDee Lamb will exceed Justin Jefferson's money, but at least shows them, by the way, that this is a 4-year deal with massive guaranteed money. So CeeDee Lamb can now take this to the Cowboys and say, this is where we're working with. Does it need to be higher? Not necessarily, but at least we need to get somewhere close. That now the question, can they do that? There are no more excuses for the Dallas Cowboys. They've got to figure this out and decide whether, in fact, they want CeeDee Lamb to be their future wide receiver. And if they do, they've got to pay him.
Okay. Right, NFL salaries are a zero-sum game. You have exactly X amount of dollars to spend, and you divide it up however you choose to. And Dominique, quarterbacks get paid all the money in the world because they are so scarce. There are just so few of them that are genuinely that good. In a league now where we have routinely 6 or 7 or 8 receivers drafted in the first round every single year, are we getting to a point now where paying any of them, no matter how good they are, and all these guys we're talking about are great, but does it make sense to go to that level to pay a guy at a position where there are just so many good players?
Not very many great ones.
Maybe at some point we'll get there, but we aren't there yet. I've yet to see the team that's paid a top-level receiver like this regret it. I have seen teams let a top-level receiver like that go away and then not be able to adequately replace them. So there are certain players in this league. I agree that not all receivers, not all number one receivers deserve to be paid like Justin Jefferson, but there are some players in this league that are more than just the position that they play. They're so important that they tilt defenses in their direction and they allow other things to open up. I think Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb seem to be becoming one of those players also. So while that may be true for some players, it damn sure ain't true for CeeDee Lamb.
That's fair, but Tim Hasselbeck, the pushback I would offer is maybe the most difference-making of them all is Tyreek Hill, and when he left Kansas City, they won consecutive Super Bowls in his absence. I know that's an outlier because they have the quarterback. But what I'm saying is don't look at me like that, Dominique. I'm stating a fact. Tim, jump in. Let me get Tim in. Go.
Yeah. So, Greg, hey, listen, you're right if you're Kansas City, right? But, like, you just... Listen, look at the Tennessee Titans. Like, they thought, hey, listen, we're not going to do that with A.J. Brown. We're not going to do that. we'll find the next one. Let's make it Treylon Burks. And it's like, nah, okay, not so fast. So yeah, Kansas City can do it because their quarterback is so good. He's making everybody better. Like they're doing it with McCole Hardman and MVS and the Kadarius Toney. Like they're doing it with.
Well, hello, good people and Eagle fans. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Let me say hello to all the lovely ladies in the place with the style and the grace. Lady Libra in the house. What's up, Lady Libra? Of course, Joanne Gonzalez. Shout out to Joanne Gonzalez. You see, she's got the Super Bowl trophy. She's been a fan and a member for a long time. Appreciate it, Joanne. I see Alan Williams in the house. I see Philly D. Long time no see. And Alan Williams. Derek Young is in the house. There's Regina Green. What's up, Regina Green? Now, I don't know if you heard this, Regina Green. You might not want to go to Brazil because they're warning the NFL teams, don't wear green because of gang violence. And we'll have more on that later. Shout out to Brazil. I'm kind of wondering, was the NFL wise to do that one? Johnny Duncan in the house. Clouds Coffee. James is in the house. I see Roland's review. What's up, Stacy Stubert? How are you doing? And did I miss any of the lovely ladies? I see Derek J's back in the house, got his computer back, and is showing all the knuckleheads that are out there doing stupid shit with the police. I tell you, it's Clouds Coffee said he's quoting Colin Cowherd. He's quoting Colin Cowherd and says that the Cowboys can't sign all three, that they should sign CD and Micah Parsons. Even though that between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, over the course of the last 4 seasons, they have the highest QBR rating between the two of them than anybody else in the NFL. The fact that your quarterback has been a 2-time MVP runner-up, that guy has had a 36 TD passes and a 37 over the course of the last 3 years. And here's the thing that's kind of amazing to me, because my son, Philly 500, who is missing in action, who is chicken, and yes, Philly 500, I am
disrespected yet? Does this defense have any heart?
No, they suck. I've been telling you all season, Philly.
Shit on you. They've shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slate. They shit on you. They've shit on you. They have shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slate. They shit on you. Kill them.
Oh my goodness! Did he say they cock out on them?
Hate the style of defense.
Yeah, I shit on him. I am shitting on him because he read me the riot act last week after I wasn't there for 2 weeks because I was giving back. And lo and behold, the very next week, guess what happens? He doesn't show up on the show. So I'm going to be killing him on Wednesday next week, and I'm going to continue to ride his... No, let's not say that. I'm going to continue to ride him. No, that doesn't sound good either. I'm going to keep giving him hell until he commits to going to the game November 10th in Dallas. It's time to put your money where your mouth is, Philly 500. So let's do this for a second, because Clouds Coffee brought this up. Let's take... Now, first thing we have to assume that Stephen Jones gets some help, okay? I think he should get a cap tutor. I honestly do. I think the Cowboys could afford to have a cap tutor. I think they can't afford not to have one. But let's look for a second here at Justin Jefferson's massive contract with a value of $140 million, the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL with $88 million fully guaranteed. Okay? You got that? All right. Understand, and the reason I can say we can talk about this, because CeeDee Lamb's contract should be somewhere in the same neighborhood, since they were both drafted in the same class. They both have 4 years behind them. They, you look at them and say that their numbers are very comparable. The real one fan says Justin Jefferson is worth it. Well, are you saying that Justin Jefferson's worth it, but CeeDee Lamb's not? Because I can't say that, Justin Jefferson has helped them go further in the playoffs than CeeDee Lamb has. I can't say that, he's got more yards, but CeeDee's got more touchdowns. But be that as it may, we know that he's definitely worth at least being the number 2, if not the number 1. So his cap number, because again, he was on his 5th-year option. They had that, of course, sewed up. He was drafted after CeeDee Lamb, okay? And in case you need a reminder that Justin Jefferson was drafted after CeeDee Lamb,
I fire Howie. Fucking fire. Motherfucker! Stupid motherfucker! What an idiot! What an idiot! Dallas has Amari Cooper and Gallup, but we don't need a receiver. Are you kidding me? I don't want Justin Jefferson. He's ass. He's stupid. I fire his ass. I fire his ass. I mean, Howie's got to be stupid. What are you doing? You just let Dallas take him.
to think they drafted Rhaegar and the very, very next pick was Justin Jefferson. That's got to hurt. That's got to hurt. All right, so I see South Jersey D says the Vikings can afford it because they do not have to pay a quarterback. Well, it depends on how you finance it. Okay, so right now, CeeDee Lamb's contract is $17.8 million on the fifth-year option, right? Justin Jefferson's contract averages $35 million a year. You do see what his cap number is for this year, right? Because they wanted to make the first year team friendly. It's $8.6 million. Wouldn't it be nice if we actually did this exact same contract here? Because here's what I'm going to tell you. That means then we'd get $9 million cash today. That is, when you see your car sales and stuff, they say get cash back. Cash back money deal. 0% financing and cash back. Cash in your pocket. Well, this one actually would be cash in the Dallas Cowboys pocket. Okay? So, here's the thing. So, get it in your mind, if they paid Justin Jefferson the highest contract with CeeDee Lamb, let's say they said, you know what, we're going to reset the market. We're going to throw in an extra, $500,000 just to make CeeDee happy, okay? So let's say you did that. You added an extra $500,000 on there over the course of the contract. So that's basically an extra $100,000. So, you got $35.1 million, okay? It's not really going to move the needle on these other numbers. But take a look. Take a look at what you got year number 2. Number 2, Justin Jefferson, okay? $15 million. Are you going to honestly tell me that we couldn't afford the $15 million hit when we paid $11 million a year for Michael Gallup with a messed up knee? I want you to remember that, right? I want you to also remember we got rid of Amari Cooper, who was making $21 million. Okay, so here's the thing. Hold on. Hold up. There's DMV. Shout out to DMV. He just got finished his live stream. Putting in great work as always. Year 3 in 2026. His cap number goes to 38. Okay, so what I want you to keep in your mind is the contract averages $35 million a year being paid to him. But the first 2 seasons, you're only paying $24.5 million. The third season, yes, that's high, 38. You bite the bullet on that one, and if it ends up being his production goes down, his cap number is 43 the next year, but you could cut him and only have $14 million in dead money. So, tell me again, you can't afford to pay CeeDee Lamb. And here's what I'm also going to tell you here, because this is where Game Time Brian, shout out to Game Time Brian, Dak getting traded. You see, Eagle 2020, are you stupid? Because they can't trade Dak, bro. At least know what you're talking about, okay? Know what you're talking about. You can't trade him because he's got a no-trade clause. And why would he want to get traded to a team right now when he can just play this year and let everybody else get paid this year and say, you know what? I'll wait till next year and I'll get $65 million a year and pick where I want to go. Why do I want to? Let's think about this for a second, though. I'm going to tell you, Eagle fan, you might want to worry about Kellen Moore and his offense that he's bringing 95% new plays. He literally just said, okay, wait a minute. Let me see. Do I have a book? Oh, I don't have a book here. But, okay, he literally said, okay, let me check out the playbook. Okay, okay. There's that. There's. Okay, we're going to start all over. And so you got a guy who seemed to be confused last year and lost, and you're going to take everything out. So you might want to worry about that, okay? Dak being traded. Dak, worst case scenario is he plays out this year and he goes someplace next year. For him to be able to be traded someplace, he'd have to agree to it. And if I'm looking and saying, what teams need a quarterback right now that aren't rebuilding? Do I want to go to a team, get traded, help the Dallas Cowboys, have them give up draft capital that they need to help build a team? Or am I better off just waiting until the end of the year when, if I'm gambling on myself, which Dak Prescott is, have another really good year? Because Lord knows Kirk Cousins only played, 5 games last year before he ruptured his Achilles and still got $45 million and picked where he wanted to go. If I'm Dak, I'll go through and I'll pick the team that I want to go to and not handicap them by being traded to them, a la the Derek Carr, which brings me back full circle to Colin Cowherd, who also said back 4 years ago, the Cowboys should let Dak Prescott walk and they should trade for Derek Carr. And I'm going to ask you this. How well has Derek Carr been in the last 4 years? So let me see if I get this straight. You've had a guy who had 36 TDs, 37 TDs, runner-up MVP. Led your team at least to 3 years of 12-5 records. How'd Derek Carr do in those years? Oh, and you would have had to give up draft capital to get him too. Okay, so if you're coming at me and telling me that Colin Cowherd, whose whole thing is to be a shock jock, to get you to watch because he's going to bullshit you, then I'm sorry, it's got no validity to me. Sorry, it's just that I'm not putting any weight on that. But back to Justin Jefferson. Exactly, Game Time, Brian. That would make no sense. No sense. Let Dak Prescott walk. And from what you're hearing, see, here's where you should actually be worried about Trey Lance. We got Mike McCarthy saying, yeah, he's about to master the system. He looks good. You hear that he's challenging for the number 2 position. You don't hear anybody saying, oh, my God, he looks great. He looked better than Dak Prescott. I challenge anybody to say that he's looked better than Dak Prescott right now. Haven't heard that. But I tell you what I have heard in New York. I've heard that Drew Lock is throwing some dimes. That Drew Lock, who didn't do much with Seattle or Denver, is looking as good, if not better, than Danny Dimes. contrary to Cop Pizzle sending me a picture of Daniel Jones and saying, I just wanted you to see the man. I was like, can Daniel Jones get out the way so I can see him? You haven't heard in Dallas them saying that Dak Prescott is struggling with the Mike McCarthy offense like you've heard Jalen Hurts is struggling, and that Kenny, who gets at Pickett all the time, is looking better than Jalen Hurts. You haven't heard that about Trey Lance. Mark, Dak ain't it, just like CD's mom said. Well, you know what? Let me give you an argument to this one, too. If CD wanted to go, then you wouldn't be angling for a new contract. You follow me? If you want out of Dallas, you're not holding out for a new contract. You are playing on this year's contract and hoping that they decide we're not going to re-sign you so you can get an exit. If you sign a contract like this one up here, you see this, right? If you're looking to get a contract like Justin Jefferson, which has $8.6 million the first year, an $89 million dead hit, of course, would be this year, and a $15 million cap hit next year, and an $80 million dead money charge the next year, you ain't going anywhere, bro. So if you're saying my mama said that I want to get out of Dallas, then you're not trying to get a new contract. You're not trying to get a new contract. You are trying to get the hell out of there. Yeah, I know. I'm just telling Mark that Locke is decent. Well, okay. Well, apparently he's not exceptional. He's not great. But what does that say about Jalen Hurts if he is not looking any better or maybe potentially looking worse? Tell me that, mailman. Mailman, deliver me that one. Deliver me that one. And you can see in the Jalen Hurts press conference. Oh, I tell you what. Let's have some fun here. Okay, let me pull this down. Hold up. I think this is kind of cool. So the caption, this is an oldie but goodie. This is an oldie but goodie, but it's good. It's good. So this was, of course, you know, they used to kill Dak Prescott because David Carr and the Carnival Sideshow that they had at the Super Bowl that he got beat Dak Prescott. But take a look at Jalen Hurts, because the caption of this is Jalen Hurts without the tush push. Watch this.
I just love my dog. Yeah. Nigga, my brother told me how to taste the bag. Get right in the field, I had to make a pass. The day you lost is so rich, I can take it back. I just wanna go get
He wasn't hitting shit.
Wanna be rich forever for my dog. For the take
Oh shit! They do have money to pay Dak. It's okay, and I'll tell you what. Let me pull another one here, because here's the thing with doing these deals. That's another one that they would actually get cap money because. And by the way, let me remind you, if the Cowboys were to do the deal like they did for Justin Jefferson, where you literally go from having a $17.8 million hit, which is what CD's hits right now is, and you save about $9 million. Chances are the Cowboys won't spend that. That would roll over to the next year. And let's say, hypothetically, you ended up taking that money and saying that's part of what CD Lamb's contract is. Then basically his numbers are only about $6 million then for next year is what it would actually cost you because of the savings for this year. And if we go back, let's take the highest contract right now is as a quarterback. And that would be Joe Burrow, who signed a $275 million contract. $275. Now, My thing is I believe the Cowboys are basically looking right now and saying we're better off taking the $55 million hit or taking the lion's share of that for Dak this year. Let's do that and get that out of the way. And here's the reason why I will say that Dak Prescott, they have to sign him, because you still have that $40 million that you're going to pay next year. You don't want to take a $40 million dead hit. If you go ahead and if you do a contract similar to, say, what Joe Burrow got. Now, again, we still are dealing with the $40 million that'll be dead money on there. But you take a look at what Joe Burrow's cap number was the first year of his deal was $19 million. The second year was $29 million. Right now, $29 million sounds like chump change. And it doesn't get to $46 million, which is still $9 million less than what Dak Prescott's is right now, until 2025. So hypothetically, let's say you've got a 4-year deal and you take $10 million of the dead money and spread it out over those years. Just hypothetically. That would make Dak's number roughly around $29 million. At the moment, you got $40 million in dead money. You could literally sign him to a contract and save money on next year's cap by another $10 million. Let's say you had the exact same contract, although it's probably going to be more because, of course, the value's gone up. So you could add a couple $1 million to this number. But the second year being 29, add the $10 million of dead money, now you're at 39. Still relatively pretty good. It's not until 2026 that you would end up having, of course, the 46, which is the big one, and you add the other 10 to it, then you're back to 56 million. Okay, still 3 years down the road with the salary cap going up where it is, that won't be bad, because what you have to understand is 50 million is the new 40, is the new 40 million. That's the floor now, 50 million. Trevor Lawrence is going to get 50 million plus. Tua is going to get, he's looking for Jared Goff money. He's looking for 54. There is no bargains where you look and say, well, give him $20 million. That's not going to happen. And if you probably want to keep and hold on to Trey Lance and he doesn't play and show that he can really play, you're probably going to have to spend $15 million just to hold on to him. Big Spank Dog, man, take care of my buddy over there, John Ridgway, all right? I know, but they lost. They lost in the Super Bowl. Gets exposed. Mark, should I buy a trailer? Go ahead and buy one. You know, the Cowboys always love people buying jerseys, but, I'm going to say to you kind of like what I said to Mike when he wanted to get a Tashard Choice jersey. We were in Dallas. I said, son, I'll buy you a jersey, whatever jersey you want to buy. He's like, well, I already got Dez, I got Romo's, and I got D. I want the Tashard Choice. I'm like, bro, you really don't want that one because he probably ain't going to be on the team for very long. He's like, that's the one I want. I was like, okay. So he's one of the few that have a Tashard Choice. Now, I can't talk, so go ahead and get that Trey Lance because I have a John Ridgway jersey. And John said, man, bro, he said, can you wear that to the Cowboys Washington game for me? Yeah, he follows me on Instagram. He actually thanked me because he said he loved all the videos. And I wish we still had John Ridgway on the team. Ask 49ers versus Chiefs. Vinny, what's up, Vinny? From Jersey. What's up, man? I'm so hopeful that we can get it done this season. He doesn't. Just because you say he does. What did I miss, Sight and Trope? You beat nobody. Okay. Well, the haters are spicy tonight. Got exposed in the Super Bowl. Oh, you must be talking to San Francisco. Up, Lola. Miss Hot Sauce in the house? Oh, snap. I still have to figure out why I can't get that to load up in here into my sound deck. For you, Lola. Shout out to Lola. Well, Satan, he got there. Lou Branch. Vinny. Let's see. Larry Woods. But Dak, New Jersey's for his new team. Okay. If I had $1 for everybody who said that this is the end of Dak, that Dak is gone, I'd be a rich man right now. I really would. Dak wants too much. So here's the thing I find funny. As we go through and we hold the Dallas Cowboys to different standards than anybody else, right? Right? Why is that? Because we got here's an interesting take that I still can't believe that nobody talks about. As we kill the Cowboys and Dak Prescott's contract, we talk about how bad he's greedy, okay? How about this one? I'll just wait. I want y'all to look at this one and look at the numbers for this year, the next year, and the year after. And I'll wait. Because I don't hear a mother humper talking about this contract. I hear everybody talking about Dak Prescott's massive hit of $55 million after he was literally $17 million, $19 million, and $26 million for the first 3 years. Ain't nobody talking about Deshaun Watson, who has done squadoosh with the Cleveland Browns, getting a fully guaranteed contract where he's getting paid $63.7 million fully guaranteed this year. And if they were to say, let's cut him, take a $200 million dead hit. I don't recall anybody talking about how bad it's going to be next year, where it's still $63.9 million and $136 million dead hit if they started to cut him. I don't remember anybody talking about how stupid it was and how greedy it was, because even in 2026, his cap number is, wait for it, $63.97 million. And they still would have a $72 million dead money hit if they decided to move on. And it's a party now because Walker Wade's in the house. But he's running out of time, year 9 already. Well, Walker Wade, I would say the Cowboys are running out of time. We've had this discussion, man. You know who's wasting time? Like they did for Tony Romo, is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, here's where I look at it and say, you know what? Stephen Jones stinks. There you go. Yeah, they are running out of time because Dak Prescott is not going to be playing another 15 years. They have to decide, are we going to be about it? Or are we just going to be there to sell jerseys? Are we going to be here just to sell hope? Dak Prescott is not going anywhere. Cowboys do not want to start over again. And that's exactly what they would be, is truly starting over again. Mark, you blame Dak's thumb when he throws interceptions. So 49er fan. Okay, hold on. Here's the interesting thing. Let's go through here. Let's take a look at the numbers, shall we? Shall we? Okay. So you're saying that me saying that Dak Prescott having a broken thumb and coming back from it might be the reason that he threw 15 interceptions. And you're trying to say that's wrong. Okay. Well, let's take a look at his numbers with and without the interceptions. I mean, with and without the broken thumb. So this year, no broken thumb, bro. No 49er fan, no broken thumb. He throws 36 TDs, has a 69.5% completion percentage, and 9 interceptions. Let's go back the year before he broke his thumb. He has 37 TDs and 10 interceptions. That's a pretty good. Those are pretty good ratios. Those are over 3-1. Not bad. Not bad. The year, and if you want to, we can go back and the year before, although he only played, part of the season before he got hurt, he played 5 games. He had 4 interceptions then. Okay, I'll give you that one. The year before that, he had 11. The year before that, he had 8. Okay. So when you look at this, you see that outlier of 15 that corresponded with a broken thumb. I don't think it's a reach to say that year that he broke his thumb, that his interceptions went higher, is not a factor. Because we're looking at a guy who has 202 TD passes and only 74 interceptions. That's almost 3 TDs and 1 interception ratio. The great Troy Aikman is actually closer to like 1.3 TDs to 1 interception. Just kind of saying there, bro. When you come into my house, and try to tell me that I'm an idiot, that I don't know what I'm talking about, have your shit together, man. Have your shit together. Don't come in here, you just say Dak Prescott, he only throwing interceptions because he broke his thumb. Oh, okay. You know what? You want to hear a funny one? And this is for Eagle fans out there who can't wear green when you go to Brazil, okay? Philly 500 yesterday was like, oh, my God. For those worried about Jalen Hurts, he's going to throw 30 interceptions. Excuse me. I'm sorry, he's not Jameis Winston. He's going to throw 30-plus TDs. And I'm like, that's a big deal? 30, really? And so I looked at Jalen Hurts' numbers. You want to know what the amazing thing is here? Jalen Hurts, the most TD passes he's thrown in a season is 23, which is last year, in a full season. Now, Dak, that year before with a broken thumb, and he missed, 5 games? 4.5 games? He got 23 TDs in 4.5 games less. Now, granted, he did have 15 interceptions. But you know what's amazing that they don't talk about? Jalen Hurts had 15 interceptions last year. I'll wait. Jalen Hurts last year, his numbers were identical to Dak Prescott's touchdown and interceptions, with Dak Prescott having a broken thumb. Oh, big spank. Yeah, I love how people make excuses for it's his 4th year. Okay. So you know what Dak Prescott's 4th year in the NFL was? 30 TDs and 11 interceptions. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Because here's the reality with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, on a great team, took his team to the Super Bowl, or went to the Super Bowl with his team. And fumbled it away. So go on. Keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. Okay? And my latest trick for you guys, Eagle fans, I gave this one to Dan, okay? Here, let me give you, this is the Eagle clap. You hear it, don't you? Versus Cowboys, Eagles. Cowboys, Eagles. Okay. Mark, all that matters is success in the playoffs. That's what matters for the quarterbacks unless you win. And, so let's take Matthew Stafford, because somebody said Matthew Stafford, how long did it take for Matthew Stafford? So was Matthew Stafford a garbage-ass quarterback when he was at the Lions, and then he goes to the Rams, and all of a sudden became a great quarterback? I'm asking for a friend. Casey Stewart, shout out to Casey. Casey's in the house. It's definitely a party now. Ghostface Gaming in here, citing tropes. Still better record than your Super Bowl. Just OKR. Nowadays, it's very hard to get a quarterback playing at Dak's level these days. You ain't lying, bro. The Cowboys got 99 problems. I'm sorry, but Dak ain't one of them. You got bigger problems. Now, see, here's where I'm going to say, again, if Matthew Stafford stayed in Detroit, does he get in the Super Bowl? Well, maybe if they ended up, he'd be maybe closer to it if he had stayed. However, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. I don't know. It's just like, it's weird because it's just like, it just jumps up and then it levels off and it jumps up. You can't keep it 100. Dak Prescott is a choker. Okay. Well, everybody's free for their own opinion. Thomas Garrett, what's up, Thomas? Lions were a garbage franchise exactly when Stafford was there. But I don't look at it and say it was Matthew Stafford's fault. It was a garbage franchise that didn't have a team around him. So did he learn to become a great quarterback? Or did he go to a team that said, we're about winning and we're going to put the players on the field? Because he had some incredible players. They went out. They got Von Miller when Von Miller was still really good. They went out and they got, of course, Odell Beckham when they already had great receivers. Of course, they had all-world defensive lineman Aaron Donald. So having talent around the quarterback should tell you it's what you need to win. Sorry, you don't see Matthew Stafford, because if it was only the quarterback, then Matthew Stafford would have won Super Bowl with the Detroit Lions. And that brings me, Mark Cookin, old meat, Dak and his team has done nothing for 9 years. Listen to the silence. Yeah, well, I hear you, Alan Walker. I hear you. Haters gonna hate. But when you guys go 8-9 this year, and when you do, remember to come back and say, God damn, Mark, you were right. I can't believe that we sucked up that bad. Because that's where you're headed, bro. I'm telling you, that's where you're headed. Wait till you see Kellen Moore's trick plays, buddy, that are going to just trick your own team. Bang, bang, 49ers. Mark Prescott. Okay. Mark, you blamed Matthew Stafford for years? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. Hate to tell you, bro. Didn't talk about the Lions that much. Eagles, yes. Giants, yes. Commanders, football team, Redskins, yes. Keep it coming, no diddy. Dak will win a Super Bowl somewhere else. That may be the case. You definitely, and this is where goes back to what somebody said. Dak gonna get traded. Dak's in the driver's seat. Why would I give up the juice? He got the juice now, bro. All he got to do is survive this season. If the Cowboys ain't going to pay me, trust and believe somebody will. Somebody will open up the purses and have no problem whatsoever. You mean I ain't got to give up any draft picks? You mean I can just pay the guy? That's all I got to do is pay him? Bro. The Rams had to give up a couple number ones and Jared Goff to get Matthew Stafford, right? You know that Denver had to give up a bunch of number ones and some players to get Russell Wilson, right? You know that, right? If you told those teams all you got to do is pay Dak Prescott, done. It wouldn't be any thinking, done. That's all done. The feeding frenzy, if Dak Prescott has a season like he did this year and is a free agent, will be insane. So that's why he's like, Hey, take your time paying me. I'm a gambling man. Don't tell the NFL. I'm not betting on the game. I'm betting on me. Nobody's paying for Dak. Dak's a bum. Okay, Robert, you can think that, bro, but I tell you what, people will. Content M, it's not about getting paid, is it, Mark? It's about getting to the NFC Championship, and that's the Super Bowl. Yes, Content M, you're 100% right, and that's where he can go through and say, I see this team is a team that's about winning, that has a good roster, and they're ready to go ahead and go all in. And I can get paid there too. That's what it's about. Mark Holmes worth a tuna sandwich. Okay. Let's get team to go to Cap Hell. All right. So y'all have got me off the rails here. But here's the thing. This is an opportunity for Jerry Jones to turn the narrative around, to turn that frown upside down. Okay, Robert, are you new here, Robert? Robert, are you new here? Have I welcomed you? Have I properly welcomed you here, Robert? Why are you here?
Junior.
You're out! Don't you do it! Don't you!
Why are you here, Robert?
I got nowhere else to go! I got nowhere else to go!
Walker Wade, you know I love you, bro. But hold on. I don't want to do this, but damn. Okay. Let's do this. Let's take, because you're trying to compare apples to oranges. If we talk about, say, Danny White, say 1983 team with Tony Dorsett, who rushed for 1,300 yards, 8 TDs, and 40 catches for 287 yards, having Ron Springs, who also rushed for 541 yards, having Tony Thrill Hill, who got 801 yards, having Drew Pearson, who got 545 yards, having Doug Cosby, who got 588 yards. You start putting some of those guys together, the Tom Raffertys, the Jim Coopers. You start thinking about having Ed Too Tall Jones and Randy White and Harvey Martin, Bob Brunig, Emerson Walls, Dennis Thurman, Dexter Klingscale, and Michael Downs. Sorry, Wade, I can't look and say that the team that Danny White's were there with those NFC Championship teams, we got those guys here. I'm sorry, I can't look at that roster and say that we got that. Sorry. That's not an argument that you can actually make. Danny White was a really good quarterback. He did lead them to the NFC Championship games. But look at some of those players that were on that team. You still had Randy White. I want you to understand this, okay? And don't say, oh, they were old. Because Randy White in 1983 on that team that lost in the NFC Championship game had 12 and a half sacks, okay? Harvey Martin was still on the team. Ed Too Tall Jones was still on the team. You still had semblance of the 70s Dallas Cowboys on that team. Sorry, I'm not going to say that Danny White was a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. There's no excuse, Mark. We went to 3 straight years of 12-5 and couldn't advance the comp. And I'm not going to say I'm satisfied with that, but I still say give Dak Prescott that team. Give Dak Prescott that team and see what happens. Or give Dak Prescott San Francisco's team. Hell, I'll say, when I asked Dan Salio, what happens if Dak Prescott's on the Eagles? He's like, they're winning the Super Bowl. You can't honestly look and say things are equal, that the quarterback can make up for all of those other people that didn't perform. Sorry, wait, I love you, bro. I love you, but sorry. That's where, unfortunately, You saw it. San Francisco, Miami, Buffalo, the teams that could run against us blew us out. And then we expect to say, okay, it's the playoffs. Green Bay did the exact same thing. And we thought it was going to be a pushover. Dak on Danny White's team would still throw 3 picks and not get it done. Do your homework. Teams were allowed to play defense back then. Mark, you are delusional. Danny White is way better than Dak. Dallas, in my opinion, has got defensive similar to the 95 defense. No. Sorry. We had a great run-stopping defense. When you start putting Russell Maryland, Tony Casillas, oh, God. Leon Lett and Charles Haley, no, bro. Sorry. No, not anywhere close. Not anywhere close to that. See, this is where you guys don't know. But they were getting old and needed the checks. Like I said, Randy White had 12 and a half sacks that year. 12 and a half sacks. And you had Doug Cosby, Tony Dorsett, first team All-Pro, Ed Too Tall Jones, All-Pro. Ed Too Tall Jones, All-Pro. Randy White, All-Pro. Okay, let me be clear to this. Let me say this again. You had on that team in '83, Emerson Walls, All-Pro. You're just saying Randy, they were just there getting a check. Randy White with 12 and a half sacks, All-Pro. Ed Too Tall Jones, All-Pro. Tony Dorsett, 1,300 yards, All-Pro, okay? Doug Cosby, tight end, All-Pro. You had 5 first-team All-Pros on the team, and you guys say they were just an old team. Okay. Next. Yes, Content M. Parsons had 14 sacks. Very true. How did everybody else do? And how did they do against the run? How'd they do? I understand Parsons had it. But guess what? Micah Parsons doesn't make up for Randy White, Ed Too Tall Jones, Harvey Martin, and all those guys. He's just one guy. When you got Randy White on the defensive front, getting 12 and a half sacks, when you have an Ed Too Tall Jones coming over the outside, when you have an All-Pro in Emerson Walls back there, you still got a Harvey Martin out there. You got a Mike Hegman and a Bob Brunick at linebackers. Guys, and I forgot, Anthony Dickerson, 10 and a half sacks. Okay? All right, so, bro, we ain't got anything near that. If we want to go to the 95 Dallas Cowboys, we can do that too. By this time, we had lost some of the players on that defense, but they were still really good. Darren Woodson, All-Pro. Charles Haley, All-Pro. You had Brock Marion at safety, Godfrey Miles, Robert Jones, Tony Tolbert. Forgot Tony Tolbert. You had Larry Brown, who, of course, stole money from the Raiders because, Lord knows, Neil O'Donnell threw a couple picks right to him. You had Chad Henning. You had Leon Lett. You had Russell Maryland. Bro, Deion Sanders. Sorry. Whoever said that our defense is like the 95 defense, you don't know jack. Sorry. Not even close. Which is the double Andy? Dak was an MVP candidate. Don't give up on him. MVP candidate twice in the last 3 years. Again, we had 9 Pro Bowls. Okay, now Content M, here's where I'm also going to tell you where Pro Bowlers now is a fallacy. See, back in the day, I'm old, and I was fortunate enough to go to a Pro Bowl in Hawaii. Back when the Pro Bowl used to be at the end of the season, it was the last game, it was like a free vacation. If you're a football player, the season's over, and I can go to Hawaii and take my family, you're taking that trip. You're taking that trip to go. Now you have it the week before the Super Bowl. I just got finished playing. Maybe I just lost in the playoffs and all that. And it's going to Orlando? Who the hell wants to go to Orlando? There ain't even a beach there. So what happens? They go through. Pro Bowler. Oh, okay. He doesn't want to go. Okay, we need an alternate. Then they sign a guy for an alternate. Oh, no, he doesn't want to go. So the next alternate. Sometimes you're actually going down to like 5 guys deep for those Pro Bowlers because they don't want to go to the Pro Bowl in Jacksonville the week before the Super Bowl. They don't. Now, maybe if you ended up doing the Pro Bowl as part of the celebration of the week at the Super Bowl, you might get more of the players there because, like, okay, I was going to go to the Super Bowl for interviews. I can go play, Pro Bowl. And how many of them want to play, flag football? So saying Sight and Trope, what are you doing? So saying you're a Pro Bowler, yeah, we got a lot of guys. And here's the other part of it. A third of the voting, I have to say, I hate to say this, is fans voting. Guess what? Cowboys are the biggest fan base. And as soon as the Pro Bowl lists come out, I know Miss Jackie and Law Nation and everybody else, vote for this guy. Vote, so we basically rigged the system and put more votes in for players that are Cowboys because ain't nobody voting for the Jets. You got the local Jet people, but they ain't nationwide. Sorry. Philadelphia, they got the Eagles market mostly in Philadelphia and half of Pennsylvania, and most of them can't leave because they're on probation. So you don't have the numbers that you got for Cowboy fans. Mark, we had possibly the best team in the NFC the last 3 years and folded. Yes, we did. So is that the quarterback's fault? Is it the coaching fault? Is it the whole team's fault? Is it they weren't motivated? Is it that they needed a little bit more? And I'm not going to say I don't think that we actually had the best team in the NFC the last 3 years. I'm sorry. I looked at the Eagles' offensive line when they went to the Super Bowl. Buddy, that was butter. I can't look and say that 2 years ago that we had one of the best wide receiving cores out there. I certainly can't say that we actually had a decent running game last year or the year before. We were a good team, but I got to say San Francisco consistently over the last 3 years has definitely had better talent than the Cowboys. Wade, sorry. I'm not going to go there with you on that one and saying that we had the best talent when every single year the Cowboys get killed for not filling in the holes. I can't look and say that in 2021, where we let go Amari Cooper, Cedric Wilson, Randy Gregory, Lyle Collins, Connor Williams, and didn't replace those guys with anybody off the street, that we were one of the most talented teams in the NFC. Can't go there with you, bro. Sorry. Can't do it. Can't do it. One final thing before we get out of here, and this is for... I don't like to quote Acho, but he's right on this.
What if I told you the NFL just made a multi-million-dollar mistake? So get this. The NFL is playing its inaugural game in Brazil, and there is one stipulation. Neither team is allowed to wear the color green. Simple, right? Mm-hmm. Until you realize the two teams playing are the Eagles and the Packers.
Both green.
Both teams' primary color
is green.
Is green. So the NFL players, the Eagles and Packers players, have been notified, according to star running back for the Packers, Josh Jacobs, to not wear green during the trip. Now you're asking yourself, why can't they wear green? Because of the rivalry. The Eagles will be playing in the Corinthians Stadium. That's the soccer team in Brazil. But there's a rivalry between the Corinthians and the Palmeiras. I believe I'm saying that right. Palmeiras' primary color is green. So even the Corinthian players have an unofficial uniform ban, which says that they are not allowed to wear green during a game. One of the Corinthian soccer players actually got fined by their own team for wearing green cleats during a game. So how in the world are two teams whose primary colors being green not supposed to wear green? Even better, allegedly armored cars are going to be following the Eagles players and the Packers players when they're around, and they have to figure out how to wear black or white or gray, neutrals, the entire time they're in Brazil. Sounded like a vacation. Now it sounds like a trip to hell.
Yeah, sounds like a trip to hell. Congratulations, Eagles. You thought you were going to be hanging out on the beaches of Rio de Janeiro, and it sounds like you guys are going to be under armed guard. And with that being said, we've had a great time tonight. I've got love you trolls coming in and trying to beat me down, tell me that I'm stupid, that my team sucks and everything else, that literally having revisionist history and saying that Danny White carried the Dallas Cowboys to the NFC Championships on his own, and that this team's defense last year was like the 95 Dallas Cowboys defense. Yeah, there you have it. Philly D, kiss my ass, buddy. Kiss it. Have a great night and a great weekend. Be safe out there, good people, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Walker Wade, thank you for the super chats. And if you are one of the channel members like Derek Young, like, let's see who else is in here that is a channel member, Big Bob Gibson, and let's see who else is a channel member, Lady Libra in the house. Make sure you go to the community tab, because my wonderful bride, Tracy, has got our new membership site and stuff together so we can get the information from you guys so we know where to send your stuff. Tailgate members, we're getting ready to order new shot glasses for this year, Cowboys Mafia, and we're going to be doing some stuff with your guys' pictures of the channel members, where it's going to be really, really cool. Tracy has been doing some incredible stuff on the computer, and I am so blessed to be able to wake up every morning next to her and having her as a partner in life. Be safe out there. Appreciate you guys. It's time to turn out the lights because this party's over.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.